These are a few bits of advice that if you're a beginner cyclist, you just don't need to worry about. And you'll still have a whole heap of fun! Woohoo! As a cyclist, there are plenty of ways that you can improve and progress your riding, but as a new cyclist, there are a few things you don't need to worry about just yet.
In fact, as a beginner, there are a few changes and upgrades that won't make a huge amount of difference at all to your overall riding enjoyment until you begin to get that bit more experience. So to help you cut through the noise and get back to focus on simply enjoying our beautiful sport, here are a few pieces of advice that beginner cyclists should just ignore. Training or training methods, to be precise. Now, I wouldn't worry too much about what training you're doing while out on the roads. If you need to sit in higher gear or lower gear, VO2, I wouldn't worry about all that. I'd focus on just getting out and enjoying riding your bike whenever you get the time to do so. And that way you can make the mistakes, learn from them, and then just keep pedaling. It's the best way to learn, if I'm honest. As you progress, there are loads of different ways that you can adapt to your training to get the most out of yourself. For example, you've got fasted training, FTP test, polarized training, even getting power meters. But all these different theories and different training techniques can all make that big difference, but further down the line. What I would suggest you do though is don't sweat the small stuff. Focus on getting out on your bike and riding that bit further, or maybe even that bit harder up the climb. And trust me, you'll see a great deal of improvement real quickly by just pushing yourself that bit further.
There is a lot of choice out there when it comes to tyres, tyre choice, and how that can improve your riding. Tyre choice can actually be quite the fine art, and as you progress through the sport and maybe take on more performance-orientated goals, you're really going to delve into total labyrinth of choice, and you can look for tyres that are lightweight, faster, and really suited to the specific terrain and road surface that you're riding on. But what I would say now, if you're a beginner cyclist, your best bet, to be honest, is to aim for something that's durable, good puncture protection, and offers lots of grip. And that well-rounded tyre is going to do you for most of your riding. At the moment, you're probably not going to notice the difference between pretty specifically suited tyres. Really, you want to have something that's not going to mean you're going to slide out on corners and spend most of your ride sitting in the verge fixing punctures.
If you want, like anything, you can save up and then splurge on some really nice posh cycling kit. In my opinion though, budget kit is absolutely fine. If you're doing 1 to 2 hours on the bike, then you're not going to see a huge amount of difference between budget kit and premium kit. And to be honest, just getting out on the bike is the biggest thing to overcome. Now, you don't also need cycling specific clothing. It has to be said though, wearing cycling specific clothing like the stuff I've got on today helps with ease of movement. It helps with less chafing. It makes you more comfortable while on the bike, but you're not going to see a huge difference on those short rides. And as you progress, as the rides get longer, as you get better, you'll make the benefits of premium clothing work even better for you.
Top spec components will run smoother, feel stiffer, and be lighter. Your bike will run better as a result. But if you are a beginner cyclist, you're just coming into the sport, you're not going to notice the difference quite as much between entry-level components and those top spec ones. Instead, what I would prioritize is making sure you have the right gears for the terrain you're consistently riding on. So making sure you have an easy gear for the climbs and the right gear to push on when you're on the flats. At this stage, you're probably not going to notice the difference between 9, 10, 11 or 12 speed gearing setups. Instead, you'll definitely appreciate having a well-maintained, clean bike that runs smoothly when you do head out on the roads. I wouldn't worry about top spec componentry just yet. Entry-level stuff is going to work just fine for the sort of riding that you want to achieve. And as you begin to progress, if you can always upgrade any kit you have on your bike to match the sort of riding that you're starting to get into.
Let's talk sports nutrition. Now, I'm not talking popcorn and foods like that. I'm talking specifically designed foods to have on the bike that are designed to fit in your back pockets and deliver the right amount of fuel when you need it so that you can stay nice and fueled. These are far easier to fit in your pockets than that, even though it tastes good. Those cycling specific foods are great for fueling on the bike. But that being said, you don't need to commit to it. You can go out on the bike being fueled by real foods like jam sandwiches, flapjacks, and malt loaf that will keep you nice and fueled throughout your entire ride. But as your rides get longer, as the intense goes up, then I would take the advantages of having those cycling specific foods.
I love using clipless pedals. I love the feeling of actually feeling like I'm attached to my bike and my feet aren't gonna go anywhere. But I understand why you would feel a bit nervous about taking these on. You don't need to until you're properly ready. A good pair of flat pedals is gonna do the job just fine for sort of riding that you might be taking on, and you'll still be able to get some solid rides in on your bike. When you feel ready though, I do believe that clipless pedals will serve as a good advantage to your riding. You don't need to rush into it just yet. Take your time with those flats.
It has to be said, one of the big benefits of riding with people is the draft. You can tuck in, sit behind them, and utilize all that draft effect to be able to go longer, faster, and for less effort. Now, it is a lot easier to sit on the wheel in front, and the closer you are, the more benefit you're gonna get. But if you're not quite there yet, and it does take practice, then ease off a little bit, give them a little bit more space, and that makes it a little bit easier for you to maneuver, and you're not going to be sitting right on top of that wheel in front of you.
But riding on someone's wheel is a skill that needs to be developed. You need to practice how to understand to adapt to someone's riding style, how to look for potential hazards down the road, and also know when to back off and when it's safe to really stick to the wheel in front. And this all comes with practice and experience.
So there you have it, our top tips for pieces of advice that you might want to ignore.
Yeah, and let us know in the comment section below if there's ever been something you've maybe got your head wrapped around, you want to go for, and then later down the line you're like, why have I been worried like that? I remember when I first started, I just wanted a really noisy Freedom.
Did you?
I just got obsessed with a noisy Freedom. I thought I needed it. But anyway.
I was just out riding my bike. I think that's the best way to start. So go and enjoy it. Hit that thumbs up button, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching, everyone.